It's Temple Talk. On today's episode, welcome our special musical guest, Gabriel Appleton. Meet your hosts, Jackie Rappaport, Baker McNamara, Connell O'Brien, Cameron Scrivens. Also with Ashley Meir, Maggie Fitzgerald, Kat Autenreith, Sarah Kisella, Cybergato, and Olivia Ricchiro. From Temple University, this is Temple Talk.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Temple Talk. This is our first ever music episode, and while I won't be singing, we have a special performance from Gabriel Appleton. Can't wait to hear from him in just a little bit. And just in time for the holidays, our correspondents have some holiday-themed activities in their gift bag. Speaking of music, co-hosts, what is your favorite holiday song?
So I'm going to start us off. Mine is Christmas Wrapping by the Waitresses. And if you don't know what that is, that's the one that goes, Merry Christmas, but I think I'll skip this one this year. Something like that. And that is my jam. That is my jam. I can listen to that all year round, actually.
Thanks,
guys, thank you. Thank you for the applause. Thank you.
My favorite Christmas song, do not judge me, is Do You Hear What I Hear? But the Rosie O'Donnell Elmo version.
Wow, that is a deep cut. That's a deep cut, Connell.
Art masterpiece. Give it a listen. Stream Do You Hear What I Hear by Elmo and Rosie O'Donnell and change your life.
I know what I'm listening to after the show.
Literally.
All I have to say.
Gotcha.
Okay, mine is Wonderful Christmas Time by Paul McCartney. It's like the theme, I think, for like a radio station nearby, and it just always gets me in the mood. But I am Jewish, so I have to give a shout out to Hanukkah, the Glee version, of course. But I love Christmas music. It's all I listen to during this time of year, so big fan.
I would have to say mine is Last Christmas by Wham. I don't know why, it just, but I hit the two-step, it just has me feeling really good. But the Rosie O'Donnell one, I'm with Jackie. I'm just gonna have to listen to it. I won't knock it before I try it.
Don't judge. I promise you will be changed.
Judgment-free zone, Connell. Judgment-free zone.
I love you guys.
4 different holiday song vibes going on. And this is our music episode. So let's get into some of the oohs and the ahs of industry. Since everyone's been staying at home, a ton of artists have had time on their hands creating and releasing some new art. An album that has everyone talking right now is Positions by Ariana Grande. There's been a lot of mixed reviews though. How do you guys feel about the album and its feedback?
Yeah, well, first, it's her 6th studio album, which is absolutely insane because it's so cool how we watched Ariana go from Sam and Cat to this, beautiful musical artist. But personally, Positions, I love the album. I love the authenticity of it. I love how she went from being so vulnerable and Thank You Next and saying like, I'm kind of hurting. I am hurting, and Positions gives this theme and energy of I'm healing, I'm working on myself, I love myself and I've gotten through everything that I've gone through and I'm still working on it, because she's been through a lot of stuff, that I can't even imagine going through, and having the spotlight continuously on her to continue making amazing music after everything she's gone through. But I don't know, there's some mixed reviews out there and some people aren't really vibing with it that much, saying it's not really up to par. I personally love it, but what do you guys think about it?
Okay, so I have to speak my truth here. Long time lover of Ari. Yours truly was the first album on my iPod, like, yeah. Her and I, we go back. It's a deep love. Like I sat through Dangerous Woman with her. I've been through it all with her. Mm-hmm. Positions starts off strong. The first half of that album, like going from Shut Up, 34 plus 35, Motive. I'm like, You're like, yeah. But for me, the album like drops off around like song number 9, like track 9, and for me is where it's like, I don't know, like these almost like. To me, they felt like lowball songs, like easy, like low-hanging fruit for her. And it's like, baby, I want I just like am looking for more in that sense, because like I feel like some songs on that album sounded really similar to each other, in my humble opinion, and I stand by that, but that's only my opinion.
And your opinion is accounted for here.
I spoke my truth. I spoke my truth, and that's all that matters.
And I kind of get it, but then again, I just can't get it because I am obsessed with that album. Actually, I am with Connell because it's like Thank You Next was so like, broke my heart. She did a 180 with Positions. And I also feel like Positions is an album that anyone can listen to and relate to. You can have fun off of Motive and 34 plus 35 and Positions too. Like, I'll be in there jamming. Jackie, have you listened to it?
I like the album. I haven't given that much attention to it. Like, I've just briefly listened, but I didn't do like a listening party. But no matter what, it's a different vibe from Thank You Next. And I love, as a viewer and an audience member, getting to watch an artist evolve. It's like Taylor going from Red and all of her classic stuff into like, Reputation, and just changing up the vibe. And I think Ariana did that with this one. I'm proud of her. I'm excited. And I love Another Drop. And the music videos are the best part, I think, about the whole thing. I mean, the looks are everything.
I have to say this, like, this needs to be said on this platform. The vocals at the end of My Hair, when she's singing the chorus, but it's whistle notes, I'm literally like weak in my knees at that part. Like, I literally, like, when I first heard that and my friend was like, wait, is she talking right now? I was like, are you literally kidding me right now? Like, that is such a flex. Like, she did that just to show how she's a better vocalist than a lot of other girls in this town.
Can I be honest?
Spill.
And Baker, I'm right there with you. I was 13 years old. I woke up at 5 a.m. and stood outside and met her. Of course, let me just throw that in there, brag a little. I was sobbing.
You buried the week.
We'll chat after, but I was sobbing, literally sobbing. But if I'm being honest, this album is Ariana Grande to me. When I think of Ariana Grande, she positions, it's pop, it's the little bit of R&B. It's so her vibe and her energy, and she incorporated so much, with the whistle tones of My Hair, the pop of Nasty, and Shut Up just being this theatrical, dreamy song, because, she started on Broadway. Well, she didn't start on Broadway, but she is a musical theater gal. So, yeah. I don't know. I really think she sat down with herself and her team and said, how can I create an album that not only are my fans going to love, but that represent who I am and where I'm at in my journey? And I think she did such a phenomenal job at creating an album that says, I'm Ariana Grande. Make sense?
How does it feel for you guys to know, like, where she started and how, like, even in Victoria, she wasn't even like the main character, which she deserved the spot because
you said it, not me. You said it, not me, Cam.
Said it, not me, girl.
I know. I'm just saying she deserved the main spot. But honestly, how do you guys feel? Like, she went from what did she do? Didn't she like eat a donut or something? She picked up
in such a American.
So much like growing up to do, and we watched her grow up, and then with Mac and all of that. Yeah. How does that feel?
That is why I love pop stars so much, because you like really get to like see their growth and like also grow with them. And I think like Ariana Grande's journey has been so captivating and like empowering and just like overall really intriguing to see. Like, she really has risen to like a complete stardom, and it's just so much fun to see that all happen right in front of my eyes.
Absolutely. Well, we are off to a great start. Coming up, we are getting a nice performance from Gabriel Appleton, but first, watch our correspondent Sarah Casella whip it up in the kitchen for some holiday baking.
Hi everybody, so for today's segment we're going to be making some gingerbread cookies. I think I'm going to call this segment Sweets with Sarah. So grab your baking supplies and let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is add my 12 tablespoons of butter. I'm gonna add 3/4 cups of brown sugar. I'm gonna add the egg and then vanilla. And I'm gonna mix all of the dry ingredients together. 3.5 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of ground ginger, 1 tablespoon of cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of ground allspice. So I'm gonna mix up the dry ingredients and then slowly add them to the mixer. Okay, I think it looks good. I think I'm gonna keep it in the fridge overnight. I don't know, it said do a flat disc, so I guess that works. Just gonna put it in a container to save plastic. I'm just gonna put this in my fridge till tomorrow morning. Hi everybody, so it's the next day. My cookie dough has been in the fridge all night. I've already preheated the oven to 350. Line a baking sheet with parchment paper. It's really hard.
2 hours later.
Decided to roll out smaller sections of dough at a time. Yes. I'm so excited. So I'm gonna bake those for 8 to 10 minutes. Thank you guys for joining me today. I hope that you and your family and friends are staying safe during the holiday season. Back to Cam at the table.
And welcome back to Temple Talk. Diving right into our next topic. Recently, Harry Styles has made a comeback. Well, I guess he never really left. But if you haven't heard Watermelon Sugar or seen the music video to his latest single, Golden, which rock are you living under? But oddly enough, that's not what everyone is talking about. Recently, Styles posed for the cover of Vogue, becoming the first male to do so, but he's receiving backlash for wearing a gown in his photos. Guys, like, what is up with this? Why do people have an issue?
To me, it is so frustrating. Like, it should not even be a conversation to me. Like, it's weird that this is such like a polarizing topic. Like, oh, he's wearing a dress? Like, what? Like, this is nothing new. Like male artists have done this for years. Look at Prince, look at David Bowie. Like, androgyny within like the male singer community, especially within like this kind of genre, is nothing new. So I don't know why we're acting shocked right now. Like, he looks good. End of sentence. That should be it. You look good on Vogue, Harry. Thumbs up for Harry. That's it. I don't understand. I don't.
And I think part of the problem is that half of the people having their opinion is so far one side than the other half, you know? And it's sad that we're still at a point where we need to be reminding people and say, hey, don't hate on, cis men for wearing a dress. It doesn't make them any less masculine, doesn't make them any more feminine, you know? What even are those words anymore? And I just think it's very upsetting, you know, because it's awesome that, I mean, it's a shame because, you know, like Baker said, Prince and a lot of artists, especially artists of people of color, have been doing it for a while. But it's like, why are we now, you know, taking him down and shaming him? You know, whereas it's 2020, we got to take that next step. We're at that point where it's like, come on, bye. Like, we're not talking bad or talking mean about anyone. But I just think it's upsetting because we need to remind everyone and let it be known that gender and sexuality is fluid. That's a conversation we need to be talking about. And it's phenomenal that, he's the first male on Vogue in a dress. Like, Harry, yes. Bring light to that issue, because it's something that we clearly need to, take the next step.
People are just unfamiliar with, or uncomfortable with the unfamiliar and uncomfortable with the unknown. He killed it. Like Baker said, he looked amazing. And end of story, manly guys can wear a dress. Anyone can wear a dress. What was that? Manly men wear pink. Hot guys wear pink. Now you can wear a dress. Like, you always can, of course. But I'm proud of him. I'm glad it's him. I love him. Pose on the front page, the cover of Vogue, and do it for everyone that wants to be able to be themselves. So I'm proud of him. I want to see more of it. And people will eventually come around to it, but it's the comfort zone thing. They have a comfort zone. Once they get out of it and see more of this, they'll adapt. But we can only work together to make that known.
Exactly, yeah.
Something else, it's like, I think people need to start realizing that the words that we're saying, they are our opinions, but we have to look out for the youth, because there are some kids out there that are looking at this magazine, or, looking at the cover on Instagram or something, and they're like, wow, like, maybe I can do that someday. And then they're seeing comments where people are saying, that's not right, or it's not accepted, you're not, and that translates to you're not accepted. Exactly. So everything trickles down, and these are going to be the kids who are going to be on Vogue in the next 20 years or so, and they need someone to look up to. So Harry handled it the best way he could, and I think with the whole thing, honestly, even from Jaden Smith, and I think I've seen Young Thug or someone, just like, we have a lot of different people who dress how they want to dress and they don't get penalized for it. So again, Connell, I'm with you. Like, why Harry Styles? And he's been giving us bop after bop after bop. He's not a controversial person at all. It's just very confusing, and I agree that people need to keep those types of things to themselves, because it really does affect the youth, and that's a part of his audience, and that's how he's making his money too. I mean, he's really inspiring some of these kids. So it's honestly such a shame. Have any of you guys, specifically Baker or Connell, felt like you couldn't do something like that?
Oh, all the time. I feel like growing up as a gay little boy, you're put in a huge box. You can't like pink. You can't wear what you want. You know what I mean? Like, there are such strict gender roles on specifically males that it's like really, really oppressive in a way. And like, it really, really, like, as a child, like, it really makes you think, like, is there something wrong with me? And it's like, no, baby, no, you're just yourself. Like, you just want to be yourself. And I think like putting Harry Styles on Vogue, like you were saying, like, it does show little kids, like, okay, like, maybe the people around me aren't as accepting, but they're like the media, like, there are people out there like me. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I agree with you, Baker. I'm very blessed and very grateful that I've always been content and confident, especially with what I wanted to wear and how I wanted to express myself. That's something I'm very grateful for and very blessed for. But yeah, I still went through those things of just sexuality in general, and expressing, the fact that I like men, like, but it's hard to, when you want to, even if you can be the most confident person in the entire world, you can be the most happy, joyful, outgoing, no matter what, when people say it's really hard to not, but everyone gets affected by people saying things, to you, or growing up and, trying a new thing. Even if they're joking with you, that still touches you, and Cameron, I want to go back to what you said before about youth, because right now we are in such a important time that we're saying, kids, you need to love yourself and express yourself. You have a place and a loving, community and support to back you up. But if you're believing that you can't be yourself, or you're suppressing your self-love, or you don't feel like you're able to express yourself because you're reading these things about someone who is so open about themselves, how that's going to negatively impact them at day after day after day. And that leads to violence, that leads to inner hate, which leads to physical violence and hate outside of themselves, and that's really sad. Yeah, that's what I got to say about that. But we really need to bring more light to this topic and be watching out for Cameron, like you said, and you could not nail it any better for our youth, because they're the generation that's going to pull through and bring the rainbow to light in all aspects, straight, gay, trans, all across the board.
Across the board, exactly.
Across the board.
And we're gonna leave it with the youth, okay? We're doing it for you.
We love the youth. We love the youth.
All right, guys. Well, for the past year, the feud between Taylor Swift and her former manager, Scooter Braun, has been raging. It all started with Scooter selling Taylor's master behind her back. Now, Taylor took to social media to fight the rights for her music, and ever since, the internet has been completely divided over this topic. Within the past week, Taylor released another post calling out Scooter Braun for once again selling her master behind her back. In order to get him back, she finally plans to re-record her first 7 albums. What do we think about this?
To me, this is another example of a man being in a woman's business when he should not be. I'm a Swiftie, so I am a little bit biased here, but it makes my skin crawl. I cannot, Taylor Swift is a lyricist. She writes all of her own music. That's her thing. So I cannot imagine signing a contract at such a young age. She was 13, 14, 15 when she signed her first contract, unknowingly giving away the rights to her music for the next 6, 7, 10, however many years. And it just makes my skin crawl. I cannot imagine being an artist and not owning your own work, not having control or your own personal autonomy within the industry. It really, really upsets me. And it's not okay with me. And Scooter Braun, if you're watching this, you better watch your back.
Yeah, shame on him. And I completely agree. And I think one thing also is, why isn't anybody standing up for her? Two people I love dearly, and I'm sorry to call them out, Ariana and Sean, you work under Scooter, very influential person in both of their careers. Why aren't you saying anything? Justin Bieber, why aren't you saying anything? Because if it was them, they'd be livid. They'd be devastated. Because that's so unfair. No matter what, I don't care if it's written in the contract, if it's signed, however old you were, if it was one day ago, if it was 13 years ago, that's her art. She envisioned that. She created that. That's her property.
Her legacy. It's literally her entire life's work.
And she has to re-record all of it.
That is a treat, though. Honestly, I do have to say I am very excited about that. I cannot wait to hear Fearless in 2020.
2020. But at the same time, why she shouldn't be having to do that?
I know. It is a shame.
Oh my God, I'm so excited for it, but she should not be having to re-record her entire 7 albums. Think about how that's gonna take a while. It's gonna take a while.
Cam, what do you think?
Honestly, if we're 7 albums, so that means that we're going back to You Belong With Me, right?
Yeah.
Before her rock self-titled, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
It's insane.
I mean, oh man, yes, she deserves her royalties, but dang, that's far. That's really deep. I don't know if it's not gonna hit the same.
100 songs.
I would prefer her just to, I guess, them figure it out for the future and just not have to deal with this ever again. But for her to redo all the old bops is just not gonna.
The deal was that she has to, every album that she releases now means she gets the rights to her first album. So by her re-recording and releasing all of her first 6, 7 albums, she will automatically get the rights to her music back. I believe that's the situation. But it would be a huge undertaking.
So you're saying if she releases a 9th or 8th album, an album after Folklore, she'll get back her first album?
She needs to keep going. It started with Reputation. Reputation was the first album that was no longer under Scooter Braun. And so she started with Scooter Braun. Reputation was the first album that gave her the rights back. But after he sold it, she lost her rights. So now she's re-recording.
But is it a new album that comes out, she starts?
Yeah.
She'll get her first album back, and then she'll get a second album?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She shouldn't even re-record. She should just start dropping a new month, new album.
I know. That would just
Jackie, I need your opinion.
Yes,
You're
Jackie.
Okay.
Jackie's over there in the corner.
I have a lot of thoughts on this, but forget the money for a sec. Her doing this and making it so public is so important for artists who are going through similar things, who need to know about what they could go through. Talking about the youth again, future kids, like if they don't know that these things can happen, how can they protect their intellectual property? And a couple years ago, she posted that article that letter she sent to Apple Music about paying their artists for the first 30 days, the free trial. Like she's standing up for these people that need this money, that their careers are this music, and we know she's okay, but I think it's just so kind and cool of her to actually just love the music and want to take care of the other artists out there. So we love you, Taylor. Thank you for doing it. And people, stand up for her. She needs it. Come on. Like if it was for your favorite artist, you would be posting about it. So please, like, spread the word.
Definitely.
That's what
Literally, we are here for you, Taylor. If you need any kind of support,
Love you.
we're gonna be here for you.
Girl, I will be there for you.
Saves Taylor Swift.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's the moment you've been waiting for. Give it up for Gabriel Appleton.
Hey, I'm Gabriel Appleton. This is a song called Summertime. I'm going to perform it live for you, which means the song is not going to exist in the beginning, and you're going to see me like set up all the music and stuff, and our microphone is not working very well, so we're going to go really quick. Okay, here we go.
Summer's about to end next week. All the summer love is easy. Don't know if it's never ending. What did you want from me? To be your everything. Sun will wake us up from our deepest dreams. Try to kill the time, but time is killing me. Not trying to kill the vibe, honestly. Did you think that we would last forever, babe? I can never tell what's on your mind. All our favorite stories have an ending, babe. Give me never-ending summertime. Play it, dance around the house. Break it up and watch it burn down. Summer will come back somehow. What did you want from me? To be your everything. The sun will wake us up from our deepest dreams. I try to kill the time. Time is killing me. Not trying to kill the vibe. Honestly.
Wow, what a performance. Thank you so much, Gabriel. That was awesome. It was great hearing your new single. And I just have to know, what was it like for you performing in quarantine over Zoom live?
Thanks, Baker. Yeah, it's challenging technically to set everything up. I watched a lot of YouTube tutorials and spent many hours banging my head, but it was really rewarding in the end. I think I got it to work with too many hitches.
Yeah. Yeah, it went over.
Your song was honestly amazing. I really want to kind of dive into that. Tell me a little bit more about Summertime and the time that it took you to write it and just a little bit of background of the song.
Yeah, sure. So Summertime was first off inspired by the music I was like listening to earlier in the summer, which was once I got into learning production more. I think what happens is a lot of people say that pop music isn't that, be like, oh, like pop music, I don't listen to pop music. And I agree, but when you get into producing music and at the risk of sounding snobby here or something, like when you start to hear more things and have like appreciation for more things. Like it's like why when I go to an art museum, because I have no eyes for art, I'm just like, oh, that's a picture, so like learning production, I really started to fall in love with pop music and obsess over things I was hearing. And Don't Start Now by Dua Lipa was that for me. And I couldn't stop listening to it.
That song is like so addicting. Like the dance, like it just makes you like want to shake your entire body. And like that is like why I love pop music so much, because it just like controls your body. So I kind of want to dive into more about your production process. So can you tell me like what it was like learning, because you were a beginner, so what was it like for you, like learning the production process, and then what's it like for you now?
By the way, Don't Start Now, Recording Academy Grammy Awards. This is as of tonight. Don't Start Now, Record of the Year, Song of the Year, Hype or Future Nostalgia. That's the record, the Dua Lipa. So listen to the whole record because it's all like, Future Nostalgia. I feel like that's the vibe of the record. It's like it's 2020, but it sounds like it's 70s.
I could go on about that album for years. You don't even need to tell me about it. Like
incredible.
That's like easily top 3 favorite albums. That's like, I'm a Dua Lipa stan till I die. So that album like really gets me, and you're really speaking my language right now.
Well,
anyways, more about you. Yeah, go on.
Apparently she hangs out in near here because one of my friends runs a breakfast place, and she's dating the guy, so irrelevant, but the Hadid guy, and they apparently hang out around New Hope, which is like where I stay. And but yeah, Record of the Year, Song of the Year, Best Pop Solo Performance, Album of the Year, Best Pop Vocal. So it's not just us, but yeah, the song. So like I was listening to that, I was obsessed with it. It inspired the song. I started listening to a lot of Nile Rodgers and Daft Punk and Chic and funk music that really like makes you go like that. And I bought that Stratocaster, that guitar, which is like a big part of that sound. And yeah, I was just like in San Francisco, and it was quarantine, and I lived across the street from this park. So I used to go to the park every day and drink coffee, and I couldn't see anyone because it was quarantine. I had to be really careful, and I was living alone. So my only way to like interact with people was hang out at the dog park and kind of like let people's dogs like smell my shoes, but I'd be like scared to pet them because I don't know if it's cool in quarantine. So I'd hang out there and just like write lyrics, and it was really beautiful. And it was the summer, and I was kind of thinking about, I think of it as like a love song to summer, and like all the summers that everyone has spent. That's just such like a concept that will never go away, and everyone can relate to it. You can just say like never ending summertime and stuff like that, and that will mean something to every person that listens to it, because oh, like that one summer I did this or that. So yeah, that's pretty much the vibe behind it and how it got made.
Yeah. So you listen to it all 4 seasons because it's honestly more of a tribute to the good times of summer.
Yeah, it's funny that I released it in like fall, but I don't know. I appreciated that.
Summer, an ode to summer, a final goodbye.
Yeah, we stretched summer out. Exactly.
So you and Baker just talked a lot about Dua Lipa, but do you have any more artists who are your inspiration?
Yeah, I mean, I can't say that you'll like hear them all in summertime, but I grew up listening to Blink-182 and then a lot of classic rock like Guns N' Roses and Led Zeppelin, and which I'm sure people can relate to. And then when I got to college, I started listening to a lot of Fish because I went to school in Vermont. And I don't know if you guys ever
Yeah, I know
Uh,
fish. Yeah, my friend really likes fish.
yeah, so like I tried to fight it, but it was impossible. And so I love Fish. And then there's a lot of other like Kings of Convenience is probably my favorite band and the number one band that when I play music like in the car at my house and someone's there and they'll be like, "What is that band?" It's Kings of Convenience. So shout out to them. And yeah, I think also Tame Impala and Tori Moore are big reasons why they kind of like showed me how you can make music like this and I think set the stage for a lot of artists like myself and MGMT too even before that. Yeah, those are just a few, I guess.
Yeah, I definitely understand where you're coming from when talking about like MGMT and all that, like the kind of like at home production or like solo production concept. I love that. I eat all that up. So we just talked about all your inspirations, but what has your musical journey been like for you? Like, have you always been playing instruments, or is this something new you picked up? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I always played music and I always played the guitar since I was little and just listening to a lot of music, always playing the guitar, but I didn't really start writing until about 3 years ago. I wrote two records or two demos and kind of learned about like songwriting and production and the first of which was kind of just like an exercise with my friends and the second one was more like emotionally connected because I was like in reflecting now I was like processing things that were happening in my life through a record and I think that there's like like I don't know, there's records that are very personal and intimate and you listen to and you're like, "Oh my God, this person was like going through something." And then there's records like, you know, future nostalgia where it's just like, "Oh yeah, like
Bangers, yeah.
yeah." So and I think when I was like writing the last album, which again I didn't release, but I was just learning. I was kind of like, this album's a masterpiece, but I would be pretty like bummed out if had to play this for people all the time. Like I should write some songs that are more like happy. But yeah, that's just some stuff about writing.
Do you ever feel like, I mean, previously we spoke and you grew up in Princeton, you would travel to the Poconos, get a little snowboarding in, but do you ever feel like your childhood and upbringing ever comes to life in your music?
Yeah, I grew up with like my two best friends, Alec and Alex. Those
Alex.
those guys I hope would be listening, and they just are my like we've always all we ever did was like listen to music and wear band T-shirts and smash on our guitars and yeah, I mean just music was a big part of my childhood. And the first album I ever listened to, I remember, was the Pulp Fiction soundtrack in my dad's convertible, which is like the coolest memory to have as a little kid, I feel like.
Yeah, much cooler than any of my memories, my musical memories. So I was just curious, you were talking all about these two albums that are not released. What's up with those two albums? What was that just you exploring your musical artistry or?
Yeah, that was me like learning how to write music and how to like wrap my head around writing a song, which has to do with, I mean, I won't bore you or but it's there's so many components, but those are all really good songs, and I totally like want to do more live streams like this. Now that you all got me set up to do that, I would totally, yeah, sit down at a session and listen to one of my old songs and be like, okay, let's all remake this. With friends on the live stream or something, I can ask people like, what, sound should I use? Should I use a trumpet or something? I don't know.
What's the like vibe compared to like your single right now and your previous two albums? Is there a drastic difference between the two, or is it?
Yeah. So the first one was like more or less just like very broody, but like not, it didn't have a theme. Like it was more just like, here's 7 songs. Like one of them is about being stuck on your phone all the time, which I still like struggle with 3 years later.
It's sick. It's sick and twisted, my phone. Go on.
And then like, yeah, I mean it's horrible. Please help me. And like another song is more just like, it's kind of like poetry, like playing with feel like your five senses, like words and concepts in your five senses, and kind of connecting things like, like feeling honey, or like things like, like kind of like creating feelings in so that was the first one. And then the second one was more of like it's actually based on a hero's journey, which is a really familiar,
English class,
I took English 101. So that's what it is. So it goes circular. So it's supposed to work like the first song, they like want something but they don't know what, and then you go through all these trials, and by the end you like got what you wanted, but it's not the same. But that was a very, like, I was being super emo when I was writing that album, and I think it was super cathartic, and yeah.
We need those songs.
Yeah. I agree. Like, that's a very interesting concept. I love that, like, hero's journey idea. That's actually really smart.
Yeah, and how everything is kind of different on those albums. So, what's next for you? Like, what can we expect to see? What are some of your short-term goals and some long-term goals that you got?
Oh, well, I'm headed out to I'm headed out to Lake Tahoe for snowboard season in a week. I can't wait. Come through if you miss the Poconos and want to.
I miss the Poconos a lot, so I might have
get some skiing in.
With masks on, of course.
With masks. Shout out Camelback. If anyone is listening from Camelback, that's like my home. I have crazy stories about Camelback from growing up. And then I'll probably head back to India in the summer or something, and just keep writing music, keep spending time with friends, and I want to get into more live streamings and kind of building songs like we did in this set, which is like in front of people, so it's actually like an engaging and intimate experience, so people can actually see like, oh, that's how that was created. And I'm really into like collaborating, so like if we're building a song and say we have a drum loop, maybe someone can suggest, oh, like put a sound of like an orchestra here, right? And I can be like, okay, cool, and put that in. So I look forward to making more music, and all of it will be released on my Instagram and website and stuff like this.
Oh yeah. So I think we have one more question for you. I'm just curious, has living in India had any influence on your music?
Oh, so much. So India is just an incredible place, and I feel so grateful to have gone there. But I would say the most important influence it had on me was the isolation, because I just work so much when I'm there, which is great, and it's really rewarding because it's my own company and I really love it. But just being out of like cities where I know people and I can go and just hang around was really just made me log hundreds and hundreds of hours writing. And I mean, India's like, it feels like my home. Also, the first song that I ever released on Spotify under my other artist named Trabs Boy, that song is written on a drum loop that came from a keyboard that I bought for $10 in India. So yeah.
Wow.
Come on, versatility.
Literally.
I think you have to visit India. We'll come and visit you, Gabriel, the next time you go.
India's incredible. It's a magical country, and I encourage everyone to research it and check it out. And yeah, I'm more than happy to set you up with travel recs and host families and good food and stuff.
I'm coming.
Well, you heard it here first, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Gabriel. And thank you, Gabriel, so much for being here with us. We can't wait to catch up with you in all of your future songs. But we've got to take a quick break. Let's catch up with our correspondent, Ashley Meir, for a little bit of holiday fitness. We'll be right back.
Happy holidays, Temple Talkers. I'm your correspondent, Ashley Meir, and I'm going to be taking you guys through a quick, easy, holiday-themed ab workout, followed by my favorite post-workout smoothie right now, a pumpkin pie smoothie. If you feel like you've been enjoying yourself a little too much, don't you worry, guys. I've got you. This ab workout has 4 exercises, 30 seconds each, 1 round for time's sake, because you want to have enough time for a smoothie, but It is also at home and gym friendly. A lot of people are dealing with gym closures and feeling unmotivated at home. But guys, there is zero excuse for missing out on this one. And you can do it as many rounds as you want. The more, the merrier. No pun intended. So without further ado, guys, we are going to get into this workout. Each movement that I chose is pretty basic, and the names, bear with me, are a little holiday related. I'm trying to get in the spirit, pandemic, holiday. So the first movement are tinsel twists, aka Russian twists. So you're gonna sit with your thumb, your hand side to side. Okay, next we have snowy mountain climbers. You're gonna get into tight. Next we have reverse crunches. Oh my gosh, hands up. We're gonna leg slightly bent. Okay, and last but not least, we're going to finish with my actual favorite ab workout ever. Squat, knees up. I just wanted to touch on one thing, working out during the holidays. I know that some people tend to be really hard on themselves about enjoying food, enjoying time with their families, but I think that the most important thing is making memories, especially in tough times like these. Working out is a privilege. Not everybody has the ability to do these things. So I'm a big smoothie gal, guys, and as promised, I'm going to take you through how I make my favorite pumpkin pie smoothie. So you're going to need a frozen banana, mine lasts the frozen, but it's okay. A tablespoon of almond or pecan butter, half a cup of unsweetened almond milk, a half a cup of pumpkin puree, some extra ice to make up for that lack thereof frozen banana, a tablespoon of cinnamon, and a dash of pumpkin pie at the end. Thank you guys for joining me for this workout and smoothie recipe. Signing off for Temple Talk, I'm Ashley Meir, and I'll see you guys next time.
Welcome back, everyone, and say hello to our lovely correspondents, Olivia and Kat. Well, recently, both Twitter and Instagram have seen major update changes. Now, Twitter added stories, and Instagram added reels in a shopping tab. Many users have complained about the updates, saying the apps are trying too hard to replicate each other. What do we think of these updates? Will they last?
Yeah, I am not a fan of either update. I think like the reels on Instagram, they're just like TikToks. Like I don't really understand the point in having the reels if I could just open up the TikTok app. And with the stories on Twitter, again, I don't really see the point either, because it's kind of like, I don't know, like I feel like Twitter is just like, you just like people just have their thoughts and they want to share it on Twitter, and it's not really like a live update type of app, I think. So I don't really get why they would add that either. And with the shopping tab on Instagram, like I saw this TikTok where it was like a case that someone made, and it was like covering like the shopping tab and like the reels tab, and I was like, that's how I feel. Like I don't really need them. The shopping tab I think can be kind of like useful, so I don't hate it, but at the same time I don't think like any of these updates are really needed. And I do think that like they are like the apps are kind of like morphing into each other, like they're all doing the same tasks, and I think it kind of at that point then there's no like differentiation between any of them.
Exactly. I totally agree. I'm like, especially what you said about them all morphing together. I'm like, you hit the nail with that one. I'm like, they are all just becoming the same app. And I'm like, you guys all, like you guys as the social media networks, they all started out being good at one thing. Like Instagram was where you went for pictures, and like Twitter was where you went to catch up on all the drama with the tweets, and you know, TikTok is TikTok. And now they're all just becoming this unanimous platform with all the same features. Why? I just want to know why. Like, do they think this is pleasing the users? Because it's not. It's not, last time I checked. And especially with Instagram, because I've seen a lot after that update came out, I saw a lot of people really saying like, Instagram does not care about its users, because not a single user wanted this update, and every single user I've talked to does not like it. And they moved the notifications up to the top and put the shopping tab at the bottom for what? Like for Instagram, for themselves, to better, like, to probably get them more money and not for user enjoyment. And I saw a lot of people say that will run them right into the ground. Like,
yeah.
Will people stop using Instagram if they keep up with these bad updates? Like, what do we think?
Oh, go ahead, Jackie.
I'm sorry. I'm just so excited because I care. Of course I care, but I don't care because I have news. I joined TikTok. I refused for so long. I was like, I don't want to get addicted. 2 days ago, I got on. All I have to say is I was up till 7 a.m, 2 days in a row. So I don't care about Instagram anymore because now I have plans. Cam, what do you think? And I hope you're happy that I joined.
I'm so happy you joined TikTok because I'm so obsessed. Also, shout out to our co-EP, Joe and Druzy. You guys have to check out his TikTok. It's absolutely amazing. He talks a lot about Ariana Grande. But moving on, I really feel like Instagram's main priority needs to be that algorithm. That dang algorithm needs help. It needs help ASAP. Have you guys like figured out like the likes and the insights? Like, I'm just still confused. Like, forget reels, forget the shopping. Like, let me know why my engagement is not where it was a year ago.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's, oh, sorry.
No, you go.
I was just going to say with the engagement and stuff, I think it's hard because now, well, before it was like chronological order, like whoever posted recent, they would show up in your feed first. And yes, I do think that still is the case, sort of, but they've even said it's based on who is getting the most likes, who you follow. So they're going to come up first. So it's like, you almost have to like figure out when your followers are engaged that you can post, because if your followers, it's a time when your followers aren't really on Instagram, you aren't going to get that many likes, and it's not going to go in your feed and generate likes, which is weird. You have to plan out when to post to get likes.
I feel like that algorithm turned social media into like a game, like a strategic game, and it's like, what happened to just chronological order? Like, what happened to good old classic chronology? I miss that. That is like something that makes a lot of sense, not some like, and I shouldn't have to like master witchcraft to get a like on my post.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And the thing is, and we talk all about this, and the most important thing, I mean, I don't know about algorithm, how that ties into this, but money. That's at the end of the day, it's how can Instagram, how can Twitter, how can TikTok, how can whoever, who God knows what Snapchat's gonna do next, can one up their opponent, you know? And it's sad that, you know, these large companies that are, you know, not only controlling us and have us warped into their little lives are driven behind money when they aren't driven behind the people that are giving them the money. Because, you know, people are going to walk away from Instagram. A new app's going to come out and it's going to be cooler than Instagram, and they thought they were going to make more money by adding a shopping cart and having ads or whatever. No, they're going to lose a ton of money when they start losing users. And that's the most important thing, is they got to stop being driven by money and being driven by the purpose that they first started. And they can't forget that.
Well, clearly we can talk about this all day, and we're going to be living through it for the next, I don't know, decade or whatever. So hopefully they get it together. But since this is the music episode, before we say goodbye, I have to know who you guys, like artist-wise, need or want to hear from right now. I'll start, which I need a collab from Nicki and Cardi to end the feud.
Okay.
What about you?
Lord. I need Lord.
Daphne.
Way to still answer. Way to still answer.
I know, like, okay.
Right under me, I was prepared to say Lord.
Okay, I'll say Lana.
Okay, I'll say Lord.
Daphne, who you got?
Okay, Rihanna, but I also want to see Billy Joel and Miley Cyrus do the Super Bowl together one day, like just a dream, no biggie. I think it could be rock and roll.
Olivia, who you got?
Yeah, I was also going to say Rihanna. I know everyone thinks that, but where is she? She needs to come back.
And Baker, last but not least.
Obviously, Lord, if you're watching this, we miss you. We need you now more than ever.
Right.
Well, I hope all these celebrities heard us in our plea for their music. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in, and special thanks to Gabriel Appleton for his amazing performance of Summertime. That's it for this music episode. We will see you guys next time on Temple Talk.